And K. K, do you know?
The topic.
Surprise. 3-way.
3-way. Ooh.
Only y'all know.
Whoa.
Uh-oh.
Great afternoon, world. We are back on the Patio
my
PolitiCz. Politicking like a motherfucking
Stop.
girly, man.
Stop.
Always just out of pocket.
Stop.
Great night. Shalom. Grand rising. How do we close off, like, if you're saying good night in that fashion? Because when you rise, it's grand rising.
Grand setting. Or...
That's a good question.
Okay. We got
We're gonna have to
Temporary
make up
rest.
something.
You got to make up something. What'd you say, T?
Many blessings.
Grand
to
setting.
Yeah.
many blessings to you.
Many blessings to you all out there,
There
man.
it
It's the
is.
Patio PolitiCz. We live. We here underneath the patio,
Yeah.
doing big time shit. Got the beautiful medicine woman, Shanga.
Thank you.
We got Special K.
Special K.
Sweet talking K. K-Day. Yes. Mac May, Mac Millie, Sir Mac.
The value that allows you.
Man,
Macmania.
Mill Suave, Trouble T Mills in this
What's good,
motherfucker,
y'all?
man.
I like that.
T
Mac
Mills,
Mania.
over,
We here.
over analytical, the overthinker, the analytical one. That's
He got the
fine.
analytics. He got the analytics.
He's deep out
Everything
here,
gets sorted
guys.
into
He's
files
deep.
up here.
Yes, man. We got a beautiful special show for you this evening.
what
What are we
he
talking
said.
about, T?
Man,
Go on and bring that shit out. You know when T bringing it out, man, it's gonna be some shit.
Man, you already know. Whip
Everybody
it.
grab a plate. Yeah.
all right. So this is modern women.
Uh-oh.
Y'all show.
He keep
They say-
addressing that. I didn't see it say that, T.
Okay, it says women.
Okay.
I'm assuming, but it was posted today. So I mean, recently. So I'm assuming it's modern.
You trying to trigger people. I just seen
Stay
that.
trying.
T, you start shit. Go ahead, T.
I gotta
This
let
is
them know
way
what
to
I'm
get it
talking
off
about
his
because they're gonna
chest.
try to evade the topic. All right.
Come on.
All right.
Ooh.
So women be
They
like,
mad.
I am not your mom. Don't expect me to do the things that she did. Also, women, my daddy provided these things for me, so that's just what I expect.
Oh, and on
Why
that
he
note,
said it like that?
we gonna go to the theater. I got some for her ass, Miss I Ain't Your Mama.
We hope you stay a while, cause it's right for life. Trying to be part of your life. We got whatever you like. Come on and just give us a try, yeah. Cause it's right for life. Trying to be part of your life. We got whatever you like, yeah. Come on and just give us a try, yeah. I said it's right for life. Come in with the shows that you like. We trying to be the best on the mic. DJ playing cuts that you like, yeah. It could be the start of your day, or maybe just the end of your night. But if you rock it with us, Patio PolitiCz is gonna do you right. Oh, cause it's right for life. Trying to be part of your life, yeah. We got whatever you like. Come on and just give us a try, yeah. Cause it's right for life. Trying to be part of your life. We got whatever you like. Come on and just give us a try, yeah. We hope you stay a while.
We hope
You
y'all
don't know
stay a while,
Shamanika.
man. Stay a beautiful
I don't
while.
know
'Cause if you
Shamanika.
don't, we off into some shit. If you don't stay a while, what's gonna happen, T?
Let me see. You gonna
They take
deal
you
with
out back.
Shamanika?
I wanna. Can I?
You gonna wake up tied to a
Sean,
chair,
man,
man,
the world
looking
don't
at
need
the
to know
replay.
that.
Can I trigger it real quick?
Oh, man.
Just real quick.
Yeah, you can.
We
No,
always
you cannot. You see how y'all are
it's
willing to
honest.
abuse
No,
me?
it's
It's
not
honest.
You just told him
It's
he could
honest.
trigger me.
It's
We're not
honest.
abusing you.
It's
No, I'm
honest. It's
finished.
honest. Look. Even
No,
though
we
it's clean.
running out of time.
Even though it's clean.
What's
We got
the
plenty of
topic?
time.
Look. Even though it's
What's the
clean.
topic?
How does
You
it-
know
how
why
does it
we
feel?
telling you that I ain't your mama, but my daddy did this? It's because unfortunately, a lot of women have unhealthy relationships with their sons.
Yes.
And they don't want to they don't want to be left by their son.
Facts. Hold up.
Wait a minute.
That's true.
So
That's true though, T.
Like they were left by.
they have a lot,
Yes,
because
yes.
a lot of women have
wanna say
relationships with their sons where they put their son in more of a man in my life status versus
Daddy.
being her son
Daddy.
or daddy.
Daddy wasn't there.
And so she doesn't want she don't want no woman to come in between her and her son.
Yes.
So she creates unhealthy situations where her son, for example, my son's favorite recipe, his favorite dish I make is lasagna. Your son has a wife that wants to know, can you teach me how to make the dish that your son really likes? And she's like, fuck no.
No, that's a family secret.
Right,
So-
it's a family secret. And she's like, I'm a part of the family, but
'Cause
the
I'm married,
reality
yep.
is
You don't
she
want your
doesn't
son to be
want any
happy?
woman to. She not think about her son. She think about herself. She don't want nobody to come in between that relationship. And so when men get out in the world, they take that unhealthy that unhealthy example, and they
Yes.
try to force it onto the women that are in their lives. I've heard grown men say things like, my mama didn't do this, my mama don't do it like that, you need to do and be blah 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 like my mom, and that's not a reality. On the flip side of it, a daughter with her dad, no woman should be saying my daddy did like this, so you got to do it like that. However, your dad, just like your mom, if it's a healthy situation, they should be teaching you some of the healthy things that you should look for. With a daddy and a daughter, I didn't really grow up with my dad from 0 to 18, but from what I have surmised from seeing other girls grow up with their dad, your dad teaches you how a man should treat you.
Yes.
And dads are really serious about that when it comes to their daughters. So they'll teach you, certain things. Like some dads right now, they're like, I think it's like a running thing. They be like posting like, oh, I took my daughter on this trip, so you can't fly her out to Houston and she think that you doing something. You know what I'm saying?
I've seen that.
I'm just saying
everywhere.
that's, so when it comes to the daughter with the dad is showing her these are the things, because, and a lot of times, personally speaking, just from conversations I've had and things I've seen, the dads are actually unhealthy with the things that they're doing.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what I meant to say.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's saying, I want like Biggie said it, like, I'm going to set it up so that my daughter don't need no man.
Yes.
That's an unhealthy way to navigate your daughter.
Yeah.
Because you're assuming.
Well, could we be
It's-
taking that bar out of context though?
Right.
Because
No,
I
because of
understood
what else
he
he
meant.
said.
I think it was coming from a more dependent.
It needs to be
but we're
explained
talking
and
about-
interpreted
Right, but that-
differently.
But
But
see,
here-
what we're
here's
talking
the
about is
thing.
the effects of the byproduct of that mentality.
Right. So even when
Yeah.
Because she's
you don't
always
want
going to
your-
be like, I don't need no man for this because my daddy
That's
did
what
this
it's
and my
gonna
daddy
turn
did that.
into.
But then it's just like, it's an
He-
attack onto you.
It does turn into that if Biggie was, God rest his soul.
Bless.
If he's not doing the groundwork after that bar.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
So it depends. It depends.
Yeah.
It depends on what else he put with that. But a lot of guys out here are extremely overprotective about their daughters because they don't want their daughter to end up with a dude like them.
Like them.
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
Why I'm
And they
saying.
all,
Right.
but they always say you should find you somebody like your daddy.
Right.
Right.
But
If your
see-
daddy is right.
Yeah.
But see, okay, I'll give you a perfect example. I saw once Steve Harvey was talking about that and how he has completely spoiled his daughters, and I'm like, well, why does that mean any other accomplished dude out here who's done well for himself owes that to her? I mean, if that's what you measure, then 9 times out of 10, the dudes who have the means to do that, you may think because he has the means to do that he's going to do that, but 9 times out of 10, he could be the more toxic one. Your daughter
Yes.
could be meant for a dude who loves her through and through, that ain't buying her 2 Ferraris.
Right.
Yeah,
Because
that's
you
true.
could have 2 Ferraris and he could be kicking your ass in
Beating
the back of
your
the,
ass.
you know what I'm
You don't
saying?
even have to be doing that. He could be
Or,
emotionally
I was just gonna say
manipulative,
he's
or-
emotionally unavailable, manipulative, and all those things. And so I think
I'm sorry, because it just bothered me that you said that about these niggas. I've been on social media that they're doing this foolish shit, and it's like I think what's understood don't need to be explained.
But you know what? They're
toxic.
having they're exercising a response from what they're seeing that is unhealthy, which is a lot of these women have grown up without dads, or they've grown up in situations and circumstances that didn't afford them the luxuries of life. So something as simple as a dude saying, I'll fly you from Cali to Texas, she feel like, oh my God, like
special.
I'm special.
I'm special. I could
So-
fly you all
It's like,
across
girl,
the
this
world
ain't
for a
nothing.
fucking
Right.
world
But
tour
see,
and
now-
be beating your
because-
fucking ass into oblivion.
Right. And so in addition to that, because that is what the outside world is setting as a standard right now,
Yes.
the dads are kind of going a little over and beyond and saying like, I'm taking my daughter out the country and blah, blah, blah. So she's used to this.
So it's
so
not
that when
impressive.
it's not impressive
when you do it.
When
But
you
see,
do it.
The
But
intention
that
in it
is
is not pure.
Yeah, it's foul.
But see,
right.
yeah.
And so that's what I'm saying.
It's
That's
malice.
It's an unhealthy response to unhealthy things that are going on.
Yeah.
Really what should be happening, in my personal opinion, is when you're saying find a man, if somebody told me find a man like my dad, what that should be saying to me is if my dad, his character.
That's it.
His
yeah.
character, how he functions in his household, how he makes sure how he's creating order and structure. And for a mom, I know somebody, his wife said to me that my husband is saying to me, my mom didn't do it like that, and my mom didn't do it like that. You need to do it like this, and
It's
that's
a lot
why,
of dudes that be doing that.
right?
see-
And that's the problem, because you want her to
Be mama.
sweep. You want, yeah.
That's
Listen,
what
but that's basically what they're coming down to, because there's an unhealthy situation that's in there. My mama didn't clean the toilet like that. My mama didn't wash the dishes like that. My mama didn't clean. You know what I'm saying? So that's
go
why
fuck your
women.
mom, man.
So that's why women start saying, "I'm not your mama," because they're not
on,
leaving the
man.
space for you to learn this woman, and then just by happenstance, if she washed the dishes and all her dishes be dirty, don't compare her to your mom.
I got that.
You know what I'm saying?
So I mean, what I'm getting at is not. So in that situation, I totally understand what you're talking about. I'm talking about, or at least what I got from the post. I see more often than not women just talking about, I ain't doing this and that and the other
I ain't your mama.
at all because I ain't your mama. So like,
It's always
like
Oh, yeah,
for
that's
instance,
the flip side of
I
it.
ain't
One
your
thing
mama.
that I say
Tops
all-
on top.
Yeah.
Well, like one thing I say all the time now, it used to be something where it was like, especially in our community, black women, it was an honor to be in the kitchen. I mean, they was trying to outcook each other.
Right.
Nowadays, if you ask a woman if she can cook, they get offended.
Right.
But
Can you
And-
build a house?
I'm gonna say this though. I'm gonna say this.
Mama took me out.
Everybody relationships is different because I
And
feel
I
like
get- I get
sometimes, like I didn't came across women who didn't know how to cook at all.
Right.
Ain't never been in the kitchen, but through our interchange and through our examples, now the cooking is coming more.
Right.
I feel like sometimes like there's a whole wall that comes down when we unlock something inside of a person.
Yeah.
So I asked that
Unlock me,
woman that
baby.
said that.
So like you mean like the level to another.
Another level to
But
it.
I mean, he's talking about like what we was talking about before, cooking together, right?
I'm just talking about,
learning
okay,
with each other.
I'm gonna break
Just
this down
making
to
it a
this.
comfortable space.
I'm gonna break this down to this: submission.
Yeah.
What makes a woman submissive? Is she is she secure
that's-
enough?
that's
That man got the
topic.
key to the
Do we
city.
have,
That's a
do we have
topic.
to ask for that submission?
No.
Do I have to ask for you to do these certain things? I'm only saying that to say that I feel like
The right man ain't gotta ask though.
right. I feel like it's gonna be like a desire thing that's
Man.
gonna grow up inside inside of this person, right? Because then look, it's one more point I wanted to make.
Okay.
Nigga preaching, man.
Blood is sticking. Like hey, from the grave.
Don't lace him, K. Don't lace him with that. I know what you about to say. Don't lace him. Don't
Be-
you
be
lace
straight
him
up,
with
brother.
that.
No, let it out. We out here. Let it out. They need it. Let it
Be
out.
straight up.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Blood is thicker than water. Become is thicker than blood.
Come on, man.
Okay. I need you to elaborate a little bit, but yeah.
I'm just saying the possibilities, the relations that she gonna have with her mama and with her dad. Like, yeah, your daddy probably didn't love you like that, but your daddy probably took you on that trip to Houston. But when you go to Houston with me, is your experience gonna be the same?
No,
It's not. It's gonna
No,
be
it
totally
is.
different. It's gonna be totally
Y'all can
different.
know.
Oh, wait a minute.
No, I'm saying you get what he said. You know, shit. You get what he said.
I've never been to you.
Yeah, no,
Somewhere.
shit.
That's spicy.
So I'm just making a point that it sounds like something ain't been brought out of them individuals
Facts.
that's speaking like that.
Well, yeah, and
And
just
it's
the fact,
also a-
just the fact that like for instance, we were talking about trauma responses on a different show.
Shit.
Trauma responses to having certain standards and
This shit
whatnot.
true though. When you look,
When you see lists like that, a lot of times I've seen
Facts.
on lists and whatnot like that, like a real man who doesn't need me to be his mother, and I'm like, okay, so what is being his mother? I'm like, because
How
if
do you
y'all
know
live,
he needs a mother?
But hold on. If you living together and there's laundry to be done, I'm probably doing laundry half the time as well, just as you are. So you're telling me because you see dirty clothes around, I'm not his mother. I'm not picking that
Is
up.
a woman
Or
out of line?
That's because she
or
ain't-
there's dirty
she ain't
dishes in the sink,
functioning
but
the
he
right-
made
She
that
got-
dish.
she got
I'm not
some
washing that.
issues,
I'm not
man.
his mother.
Yeah.
Is a woman
she got
out of
some
line
issues.
with
I have
that
seen-
line and she doesn't even know the mother?
No. It's not even about knowing the mother. She
I don't.
thinks,
Yeah, I don't think it matters. If she know the mama or not.
A lot of
she got a
times-
line for the comment.
a lot of times they equate this to the
Shit
whole,
for the
you know,
sentiment.
we're
If
not in
he's
the
not-
50s, so I'm not
look,
doing this.
Right.
She's out of
traditional
pocket
roles
for
type.
the
Right.
comment if he's not a man that is comparing her to his mom.
Got
yeah,
you.
there you go.
Got you.
There you go.
Yes.
And it's sad because a lot of men don't compare their women to their mom. Well, I ain't gonna say a lot. I'll say it's a 50-50 split when it
Okay.
comes down to that. Yeah. Because you got some dudes, like she said, that are toxic as fuck that compare.
Right.
But then there's
and
some that
though-
don't compare, but they talk to you like they are your mother.
But I think when
That's-
we
yeah,
address
that's
topics
fuck-
like this
that's-
too, we have
that's
to
out.
We got to be careful. There.
we have to
Yeah.
understand, like I said many times before, we're not talking about the lowest scum of the dudes who want to live at home like Jody.
We need to talk to them.
And well, yeah, yeah.
Facts.
But it's the
Get your ass off the couch, boy.
the misunderstood fact of like, okay, well, you can't do this because you think that's mothering. Like, no, if our relationship works, like I hear a lot of times, a lot of chicks will think, okay, well, once I bear the kids and I've had the kids, that means I'm doing all the nurturing. It's like, no, do you know how much fathers do in the home? And it's not even a transactional, you did this, I did that. It's just, this is what works. If whatever happens over this week, I may have to wash dishes every single night. But then if another time comes where you may have to because I'm hurt or I'm incapacitated, not even that. Maybe I'm at work. Maybe something happened. Maybe we're facing an emergency. I shouldn't have to be picking up his clothes.
Well,
I shouldn't have to be.
That's not
You
part.
know what?
That's
I agree.
not
Hey,
part.
but
But you know what?
That's
Let
not
me
here
say
all the
real
time.
quick. I think that goes back to
He
what
can feed
he
himself.
said, what y'all said, because do you have to ask for those things if the energy and the space is right? No.
That's what I was about to say because I feel the right God.
Come on. Ooh,
God.
Y'all hear me?
You get what I'm
universe.
saying? Nah, real talk.
For real.
Will unlock that in a woman to
Yes. And
where
you know what?
it's going to be automatic, or it's going to be a desire to
Listen,
do it.
It's automatic.
Or and I believe with the right man, he's gonna lock something in that woman to where she may have that rapport with Mom Dukes
Listen.
to where she can inquire and moms feel
Little by
comfortable
little.
enough
My
to
priest-
give her
Little by little.
that
100.
shit. Yeah,
My priest
She got to
says
show that
something.
she's worthy of that.
yeah.
I know you gonna
priest
love my
said
baby when I'm
something.
gone. Type.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
shit. So I can
But
give
you know
all
what?
the
A lot of
glory.
mamas
Yeah.
don't want that though, because like I said, they don't want that. They don't want nobody to come in between them and their son. But
And they're
my
toxic,
priest
too.
says they are. My priest says something one time that was just like, that's it right there. It just it summarizes everything. He said, a man's job is to create a safe space for a woman to then come in and create.
And that's fine.
Ooh, one more time.
A man's job is to create a safe space for a woman to come in and feel comfortable and free to create.
Set the foundation so she can.
A home for babies.
Would that be
So-
saying, like you said, set the foundation so she can
Yes, and so in that
Fix the
turn,
house.
You got to know how to build.
exactly. So in that turn, if that woman feels safe in the structure that is presented, you won't have to ask her
Nah.
to clean up, pick up
Or
the
do
clothes,
laundry.
do laundry.
She
fix
better hope you
shoes,
don't.
You know what I'm saying? All of those things.
Yeah, I feel
Because
moms
it is
wouldn't even
it's a
be in the
natural
fold.
ebb and flow
Yeah.
of the reaction, but those are healthy people.
But see, sometimes
Yeah,
a
okay,
woman
there
would
we
be
go.
like,
Or-
how
or
come?
Those are
people-
healthy
or people
people.
that are striving to be healthy.
or
Keyword.
people striving to be healthy because they're working towards it. Yes.
Exactly.
But there's some women
Touch on
who's
the
like, well, shit, when are you going to wash the clothes? Like, I don't mind doing it, but you
She
never
toxic,
do it.
man.
You,
She
Well,
toxic.
no.
Well,
Does it not
I don't have a-
cost
I don't have
your
a
mind?
problem with that.
See,
It can be
then it's
expressed.
not, now it's gender roles.
I'm talking
'cause it's
about
like,
chicks that are indoctrinated to the point where, like, I know I'm not your mother. This is not the 50s. I work too and all this. And I'm
And
like,
before
So here's
before
the
I go on
thing.
break, before
Yes.
we go on break, are those women single that you're talking to?
shit.
oh, you see a lot of them.
No,
Are they single?
they're
Yes or
not.
no?
Because
Hell yeah.
these dudes
Oh, he
is
said-
out here
he
wiping
said-
these
no,
girls
shit,
up, and they
shit.
out here paying for
T just said
maids
it. Nope.
and buying DoorDash.
That's not love,
Shit.
though. That's
Like T
They
said,
do
hell
that to
yes,
get a
they
nut.
single as
No,
fuck.
they not.
they do that to
You
get a
single
nut.
with your
No,
job?
I'm saying the
Y'all
dudes do
see
that
a
for them to
girl-
get a
y'all
nut.
see them on the TV on these Real Housewives and all these bras.
I ain't talking about them clowns. They
They're
clowns.
the same ones though.
I ain't talking
They're
about
the
just
same
them. I'm
ones.
talking about
and
this
these
is-
dudes are
They
out here
created to be
chasing after
clowns.
them.
Not
and
all
they
of them.
don't. They
They're
okay with them
lusting
not
after
being
them.
able to cook.
They're lusting.
Okay. It don't matter. They're wifing
Lust.
them. They're wifing them. I don't care what pool they're in. They're wifing these women that don't cook, don't clean. They're buying maids and buying
Shame on y'all.
DoorDash.
Shame on y'all.
I don't feel
Holla
sorry
at
for
the
you.
boy.
Nobody in that household is
You
cooking.
wife a clown, you a clown.
I
And
don't
on that
feel
note-
sorry for them either.
Yeah, I don't either.
We,
And
That
we, we
is.
can admit to that.
on that note, we gonna take a quick break, pay some bills. Shout out to the Legato collection, man.
Ow.
Like, share, subscribe, all that great shit.
We
Patio
outside.
PolitiCz. We'll be back. Yeah.
Hey, we back up in this thing. You know what I'm saying?
Back
Shout
in
outs to
this.
J Fifth. He had to step out, but you know what it
send
is.
him out in the world one time. We sending blessings, protection.
We back here on
abundance,
Under the
and
Patio, y'all.
He's sitting low back here. I gotta raise this chair up a little bit. My legs is long and everything. There we go. Yeah.
Ooh, y'all know it's
Come.
real. I done kicked off the kicks.
Oh.
I know I
T.
smell something.
Oh,
T,
smell like
T.
roses. Don't play me, man. You a cold player. Touch my feet, man.
Where we leave off at,
So,
Trouble T?
look,
What we touching on?
So I'm actually very, very happy that we touched on this because it's something that I think is misunderstood. And I think what Five said before we went to the break, it's true that, yes, women do have a lot of validity when they say this these days because you have certain dudes that want to be mothered, like Jody. But what I'm getting at more so, I'll just put it out there. You hear this a lot more from more liberal-minded, new school type folks who think that, you know, we should all be exactly the same. And I'm like, well, if we all are exactly the same, then there's no differences to appreciate. And when I think about traditional roles, I don't think of them as concrete. And that's usually where the you know, them saying I'm not your mother comes from. But I don't think of them as concrete in the sense of, if you're my wife, you must cook. You must, you know, do the laundry.
Those sound like demands, though.
Yeah,
it's like you expect.
It's more so one of them things where Samira was using the term ambiguous. It can be a little ambiguous to the sense where you would think certain things are expected of one versus the other. Like if I'm married, I do not expect my wife to get under no car and fix it. I do not expect her.
But if I was your wife, I might slide under there.
Okay, but at the end of the day, though,
Baby, can you come
Would you
look at this?
would you ask
Even
or
if I
anything of
was-
that nature, or would you just I randomly walk up and you're underneath the car looking at some shit?
That's highly probable.
but
That's
see,
highly probable because I'm
You
trying
don't think
to
that
see
would
what's
create an
going on.
issue or a problem or whatever if you didn't at least address it with your man? Like, baby,
No,
the
because I'm
car is
trying to see what's
acting-
going on so I can tell you.
but
See, baby,
my
if you
thing
come
to-
and just be like, baby, the car is acting funny, it's doing something,
Yeah.
it's sounding different.
I
Can you
would-
come look at it?
You know
with
what?
me?
I think I would probably have to, like, I don't want to use that word, but I'm just going to use it. Be groomed into that. But I think that I would end up with a man that knows me well enough to know that, like, I'm not trying to take anything from him. I'm just trying to check it out and, you know, see what's going on. And I like to learn new things. So, you know, I might be like, oh, I
mean,
think
'cause
I
there's-
got a leak.
but that's why
then
I
There's
I'm
say-
some
gonna
men
tell
out
you,
there that would take offense to that.
yeah.
But that's why I say too that the roles.
But you gotta know your partner too.
Right.
They aren't so like concrete where it's like, well, she do the cooking and cleaning and I bring home the
Right.
bread. It's like, no, I understand that most women today are gonna work because they have careers and they've
Right.
gone to college and worked their way. I'm just talking about like those traditional roles can be kind of used to guide things.
It could
Like,
be
for instance,
fluid.
I'm not gonna sit here and just get a full night's rest at night knowing that like the financial load is resting on my woman. Now, if she is contributing a lot because she works as well too, that's
out here.
fine. But I'm saying, like, I'm not finna sit up here with my feet kicked up.
There's some
watching the
women out
football
here
game,
that's
They
and
doing
she-
that.
and she on a ladder outside climbing on the roof.
They
trying to
doing
fish
it
something.
though.
There's women out here that's
because
okay
they're
with that,
flowing
though.
in the wrong energies.
But they tend to see. Here's my problem with that. We say that as a way of trying to say, like, okay, well, that's what we're moving towards. But at the end of the day, look at how things end up. It tends to shift. Usually, when a woman has more pressure on her in the relationship, the timer has begun, the countdown.
Facts.
There's a short period of time because most of the ones that say that, you can look up and be like, okay, well, where is that dude now? You ain't with him,
Right.
or you're frustrated. How often
And
do you
unhappy.
how often do you see women come to the front? I am proud to hold my man down, and I'm talking about in every
It ain't
way.
a lot of
and
it.
he ain't got to contribute nothing back.
Seen a post from GU with Miss Union with Dwayne Wade wife.
Oh,
Yeah.
Gabrielle.
The post she made about
What'd she say?
how she can how it's okay for her to cheat on her dude because he wasn't bringing it home.
Yeah,
She felt okay.
And there's some women out here that
She
feel
felt
like
she
that.
felt like she was obligated to cheat.
Yeah. There we
Because
go.
he wasn't
And
doing
you know
everything
why?
a man was supposed to be doing in that.
Man,
like, if
there
I
it
make
is.
more money than you, I can cheat on you.
I think
Oh,
I
don't know
shot
about
the
that
segment
one.
that you said in another episode too, where you said if dang, it was something you said. If it was in one of them older episodes, where you said if I have to do this, then I'm the boss. Or
Oh
if I have
yeah,
to-
yeah.
If I have to bring this to the table.
Oh, it's So it probably was the one where we were talking about the women proposing to the man.
yeah. And you was like, yeah.
If I propose to you,
then I got
I'm
the
running
balls.
this show.
I got the pants.
I'm running this show.
I took your balls.
I
you know?
definitely have them in my purse.
That's terrible.
It is terrible,
And if
but
you
it's the
allow
truth.
yourself to be proposed to, and you don't
And your ego is so inflated that you think it's a good thing. You got another thing coming.
So if
yes.
if a man says yes, what is the situation?
I don't know.
at
I
that
will
point?
never be in that situation. I have
that
no
won't
idea.
happen for me either. Because I'd be like,
I don't think I could have. Yeah, I don't think
I would never want
that
to.
just wouldn't happen.
I
to
would
me.
never want
would
to
feel
relate with a
weird.
man that would allow me to get down on one knee and ask him to marry
You know
me.
what stops that? Having conversations about marriage.
I doubt it because I'm
I
sure some
only
of those
see a
women have
handful of
had
women.
conversations with those dudes and then they still
Because like
decided
no,
to
I
do
don't
that.
even know any women
I'm in
who
a
would do that.
conversation
So I don't
between
even know
the
what
both
their
of them.
I
mindset
don't
thought
either.
process is.
Because if the man is never talking about marriage and it's the woman that's always pressuring, like, babe, this, that, and the other, and he never has that conversation, she's going to feel like, okay, we've been together for so long, everything is okay, everything is good.
But you got to be
I'll
thinking from a
propose.
traditional mindset to even think that way.
Yeah, but sometimes it just leads to that.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like what do we say about the individuals who didn't have that parent? Like, say for instance, like, I'm not gonna be your mama, but what if I
Yeah.
never had my mama in my life?
So this is where it gets tricky because
What's they measure?
it gets tricky because we
Porn.
Disrespectful
give,
statement.
we give leeway to one versus the other. So like for instance, a woman can say I didn't have this, that, and the other growing up, or I wasn't taught this, that, and the other, and we're often taught as men, well, be patient with her and all these things. But I as a dude cannot go up and be like, hey, I ain't had no father, and I was never shown how to be a husband. Shit, all the men I was around, they was humping 5 other hoes outside of their main. That's just how I show love.
And you wrong for that.
I mean, you
You
can't
will be
tell me I'm
viewed
wrong.
wrong
That's
for that.
all I know. I mean, I love you, and yeah.
So I think what would determine that situation is he saying that to use it as an excuse to keep doing it, or is he saying
Sounds like an excuse.
this is what I had, but and I
Never
don't
shown how to be a husband.
I don't know how to be
provider,
a husband.
all
So,
these
but I
things.
want to do it. Those are two different people.
Right.
Those are two different people.
And so then at that point, can you deal? I mean, I guess this is a question to y'all too. Could y'all deal with that when you see somebody who is like fighting their trained urges? It's like, because when I look at that, when I see somebody going against what they were taught to be, it's like all of a sudden one day now you can only use your left hand.
So I think that goes I think that goes back to another episode that we did where we talked about that dating list and why I said discover or identify what you are willing to compromise in and what you're not willing to compromise in, because if you already have those things outlined and you encounter that man, whatever he's saying he didn't learn or whatever the case may be, if he's still matching up with these things that you said you're not compromising on, then you probably will feel a little more like, okay, I can work with him. Okay. But if one of those things you identified as I'm unwilling to compromise on it, if you are serious about what you set for yourself, then you're not going to deal with that man. I dated a guy. This is way before I was the me that I am today. Thank the Most High and the universe.
So we gonna get to who you was then.
Yeah.
In this story.
Yes.
Got you.
Relax. It's okay.
I'm just wondering.
Have mercy. It ain't gonna get too deep. That man. They see you made me forget what I was about to say. Hold on.
dated a guy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I dated a guy. Now I'm gonna say I'm proud of it, even though that might not be okay. But I am proud to say I used to be a very zero tolerance type of woman, meaning you cross the line, it's a wrap, bro. I don't care. It's a wrap. I'm finished. Finito. My dad was first time offense. My dad was like, baby, you can't be. Hey, shout out to my daddy. My daddy's like, baby, you can't be like that. Like, you gotta be willing to like work with people a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I was dating this guy. He's an older dude, and I find out that he's cheating, and I'm like, he's out of here. Number one, I ain't never really, for real, at least that I know of, been cheated on. So boy, you is out. And my dad was like, don't do that. He like, do you love him? I'm like, I do, but I'm not doing this with him, Dad. Like, that's a wrap. My dad's like, he's like, well, bring him over here. You know, let me talk to him. So him and my dad have dialogue and stuff. And
Your dad didn't want to kill him? I'm sorry.
Not because my
How
dad.
hard was it to get him in there to talk?
It
to
wasn't
you?
hard at all.
No?
And my dad didn't want to kill him because my dad, shout out to my dad again, my dad is a very realistic and understanding man. And what he said to me was, sometimes you have to give people the space to grow and change because they experience or only know things to be a certain way. And sometimes we come into people's lives and we're completely different than what they've ever experienced, and they don't know how to function in that. So sometimes you have to give people a little bit of space. And when he said that to me, I took his words of wisdom and I applied them, and I gave the brother space. Ultimately, he still fumbled the bag, and he couldn't, you know what I'm saying? He couldn't get himself in line. But years later, when I gave him the opportunity to have access to me enough to have a conversation with me, he said, I've really been praying to God that God would give me the opportunity to just have this dialogue with you and let you know, like, it wasn't you at all. Like, everything about what we had going on was solid, and it was real. Like, I fuck with it. It was good. He said, but I was so, like, I'm born and raised, you know what I'm saying? The G's done taught me, like, you never put all your eggs in one basket. And because I never experienced a love like what we had, I was afraid to do something to make it go away. So I
Wanted to make sure I had a backup
I
plan.
wanted to make
just in
sure I
case
had a
fuck.
backup plan. And I'm listening to that, and I'm grateful because I had already had my own healing, journey in regards to the relationship that we had. So I could really just receive what he was saying and know that it was genuine what he was saying. But it made me think, like, bruh, but the very thing that you did is what caused you the bag. You know what I'm saying? And he realized that, but I say that to say, sometimes people, you're a brand new light that they never expect, and they cause their own destruction because they're used to the drama. They're not used to peace. They're not used to being able to communicate. And it's easier for them to deal in destructive chaos than it is for them to live in peaceful light.
That is true. That is 100%.
You showed about the blessing and the lesson.
Hey, message.
Message.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey.
I mean, I 100% agree with that too, because I think, a lot of people are just self-destructive, and I think the issue that a lot of times is people don't even realize they're doing it.
They don't.
Yeah.
And it comes down to courage. People do not talk about courage or bravery really anymore. To me, they seem like ghost words, you know what I'm saying? But the reality is, a lot of it comes down to courage. You're willing to be uncomfortable for the sake of growth, or for the sake of having or doing something that you've never seen before. And that's very scary to people. So when you have a woman and she's never really known how to function as a woman, and she get with this man, and he's like trying to help her and guide her, like you said, like, I know a woman, she ain't never been in the kitchen cooking. There's a space that one of two things is going to happen. Something in her and something about the space is going to make her feel comfortable enough that she feels like, I can be vulnerable enough to say, I ain't never been cooking.
Right.
Because really, we as women, in the back of our mind, we are being judged
For not being
immensely
able
for
to cook.
not being able to cook, because that is a thing the world said that women do. Automatically
Like, y'all the
off
cookers.
the back. We
You
are
bring
the
the meat,
cookers.
y'all cook it.
So if she can't cook, she automatically feels like she is not fulfilling the space properly. So one of two things is going to happen. Either she's going to be comfortable and courageous enough to say, I don't know how to do this. And you know what I'm saying? Like, let's just work it or whatever. And that man has made a safe enough space where she feel like she can say that and move in it. Or it's going to be the complete opposite, and she's going to react like, I ain't your mama, because it's a defense mechanism.
Okay.
She don't want to say,
But
I
what
don't
if-
know how to cook. She's just going to say, she's going to give you a reason. I ain't your mama. I ain't going to be in the kitchen cooking for you all the time. And that's the reality. That person's not courageous enough to be vulnerable and say, I don't know how to do it.
And I was going to say too, because when I see that said a lot of times, I'm like, I be looking right through them and being like, I'm like, you can't cook shit.
Right.
You ain't cooking for nobody if you try.
I mean, even if they cooking, not everybody can cook, so that has to be.
But the point of the matter is that just because women of previous generations showed out doing it, like I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong. At least I can speak for myself here. I'm not saying that I need you to cook Big Mama's Thanksgiving-sized dinner
every day.
But in her
Fry some
mind, when
chicken
you
wings.
say cook, that's what she's thinking.
Fry some chicken.
Okay, I put it to you this way.
Prepare some chili cheese dogs.
I cook. So I don't even see why it should be an issue because
the world is telling her that as a woman, you have to. That's a part of you being a woman is you knowing how to cook.
But see, the thing is, the world also tells men that if you don't make something of yourself, if you're not valuable, then you aren't even deserving of.
The world do not tell them that.
Tells who that?
Tell men that they not worthy of it, because if it did, we have less Jodies in the world, and we're having more and more Jodies. And you know why? Because they mama's saying, "Don't worry about it, baby. Come over here. I'm gonna cook for you."
Nah.
Can we take a break real quick one time
we gonna
and come back on
Patio
that?
politics, y'all. Y'all already know it's getting spicy.
Real quick,
it's getting hot up in this kitchen. We're gonna cook something up in here. We're gonna be right back at you after this.
Yes.
Yeah, I had to triple up on it. Yeah.
Okay, all
Felt it a
right.
little bit,
We
you know
out
what I'm
here
saying?
with it. We out here. I'm feeling
We out
it.
here, but we under
you
here
need that
because we
bell.
underneath the
Let me go and
patio.
pass that over there. Man, you can't put
yeah,
your
there you
hands
go.
on
There
it.
you
You
go.
got the, you got a fingertip.
Jangling, God can't
Jangling.
What up, y'all? We back here on
We
Underneath
outside,
Da Patio.
man.
It's your boy
Been
T
here.
Mills, got King Done.
Hey.
Beautiful, the lovely.
Ow.
Hey, so
Trying to get the medicine
question
woman.
about that statement. Say,
Yes.
I know we asked it a little bit, but we really didn't touch into it. I think it was Kendon that asked.
Let me
And
real
it's
quick
like-
reiterate. Just
Right.
if-
Go
if
ahead,
y'all-
go
if
ahead.
y'all
Last
just joining us, the subject of the discussion was what you hear a lot of women say, more modern women. They say, "I'm not your mom, so don't expect me to do things that she did." But also, you will hear the same women be like, "Well, my daddy provided for me, so that's just what I expect."
How do we treat those situations with individuals that did not have parents to be able to accurately say that?
I think
But they
think
learned
can-
it from society.
I think a lot of times they'll try to get away with it more because they think because that you didn't have parents that, oh, you're expecting me to do these things because you want me to fulfill.
You got mommy issues.
You got mommy issues.
So I gotta,
yeah, or
I
you want me to fulfill something that your mother should have done for you. You hear that all the time.
That's so disrespectful, though.
They-
Like,
Wait,
don't see-
what's disrespectful? The fact that they're saying that to you, knowing that you didn't have parents.
but
Yeah.
how do you
They-
know that
they
this
will
is the
attempt to
this is
use
how
that.
this is why I am the way that I am, because I didn't have a mom.
Oh,
So you feel like you feeling a void of that I'm
It's-
missing.
No,
like,
then
it's
I,
kinda-
I
it's
feel
kinda
like
the
it
same-
becomes
how
a
dare you.
communication problem then
Yeah.
at that point. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
I mean, but
But
9
it's kinda
times
this-
out of 10 it'd be true.
But see, I'll put it to you this way.
indeed.
it's just like I don't
But
know
it'd be
what
like,
it is to have a
what
daddy.
that
How
truth
can you
gonna do
tell
though
me
for me in
that-
this situation?
You know what I'm saying? Or I don't know what it is to have a mom. How dare you tell me that I just want you to be my mom? Or I want you to
Exactly.
be my
But
dad.
that I think that's why they could say it, because you don't know that that what you're exuding is a person who's looking for that motherly energy.
How well do you know me to be able
we
to
can say
tell
the
me
same
something
thing about
like
women who
It
act a certain
depends.
way and say that they want
Dang,
they want to do
T.
to fulfill a
We
empty
ain't
father role.
we ain't saying that, T.
No,
Just
I'm only
calm
saying
down.
like the premise.
It works on either
principle.
side. It works on either side.
It's the principle.
Because here's the reality: unless you have done your own internal works
Right?
to address the lacks that you experience in your life and the traumas you've experienced in your life, 9 times out of 10, it's showing up in your interpersonal relationships.
And you just don't know it.
And you just don't know it. But what that person should be doing in a more healthy way is having a dialogue with you to say, they don't even have to say, look, you acting like, or you looking for me to be your mama and I'm not your mom. That person should be, if they're emotionally mature, you know, just mature in general, should be having a dialogue with you about finding out from you what it is that you're looking for, and them sharing with you what they're looking for, and sharing, these are the things I ain't willing to do, these are the things that I am willing to do. Because at the end of the day, the reality is, when you say, when a guy says, I want you to, let's just say he's like, I want you to be like my mama, or I'm looking for a woman like my mother. I think what's getting lost in translation there is really what should be being said is that man is looking for, hopefully, because the idea, the premise of a mother is a person that holds space for you. You're safe there. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. She's nurturing for you. She's loving for you. Right? You know that anytime shit is just heavy on you, you can go to your mama. You can talk to her about it, hopefully. Mm-hmm. Right? That's feminine energy. So really what you're saying is, I'm looking for feminine energy. But when people slap that title of mom on there, it starts to get real tricky. You know what I'm saying?
It's dismissive.
I mean, you could say it's dismissive, but I think it's just,
we got different examples.
Yeah, it's what people associate with that energy is mother. Right. And that's why in all these podcasts, I always bring up like feminine energy versus masculine energy, because if you understand what feminine energy is, then you'll know you're not necessarily looking for your mother, because that technically is unhealthy for you to be out looking for your mama. That would be
an Oedipus complex.
Or looking for your daddy. Mm. What you should be looking for is feminine energy, and what you should be looking for is masculine energy, right? You should be looking for order and structure in a man. You should be looking for nurture and loving from a woman. That's really what it is.
Now, more so what I was getting at too, with what I last said is, like, for instance, you said more so what you're looking for. You had stated on a different occasion why you had appreciated us as men in here. Now, what I notice a lot of women will say, right, like they want a guy who is a protector, right? Mm-hmm. That same trait, she could have observed in her father, or she could have observed in, you know, just men around her. So you think that men are supposed to be this way. Now, let's say it's not even his mother. Maybe he's just used to women being in a very This is what gets lost in translation a lot of times. He may be around women who actually have really good character. They just happen to be very good homemakers. Maybe they're very good cooks. I always use cooking as an example, but I cook, so I ain't saying some shit that I can't do for those of y'all who are hating me right now.
Cooking.
Yeah, I love seafood.
Hold on,
Two different pictures. I might make a lot of women upset.
I bake it, I smoke it.
Okay.
I want to ask you, Mika, as a woman, what do you classify the value of a woman who's stating something such as, I am not your mom, don't expect me to do the things that she did?
That's a good one.
Ooh, wait, ask me again.
As a woman,
how
do you classify the value of the woman who is saying this statement?
The value.
To say something like that is pretty bold, that's why.
Yeah. Like, what type of woman do you think that would be, or if
that would
she
say that would make that statement?
Yeah.
A woman who is unsure of herself and who is afraid of being vulnerable and being authentic. She's defensive.
Would that be the same for the woman that also says, my daddy provided these things, so this is what I expect of you?
No.
Okay.
Well, hold on. Oh, well. Yeah, no, I want you to elaborate first before I answer. Because before you jumped into that too, I was getting to that. Whereas her saying that, and I'm like, well, you know what? Plenty of women believe the idea that men should protect because they might have saw their daddy did it, or they've seen other men. Yeah.
Well, masculine energy is that.
But that's the thing. Why is it so concrete that we can say that for us, but we don't agree to nurturing things as
because
You would have
no,
to ask
we
what type of
should.
protection is it that you're looking
We should, because natural
see, when I hear-
feminine energy is nurturing.
Well, see, when I hear that, I hear exactly what you're saying around what's naturally masculine. Okay, protecting. But then I won't even use the cooking example. I use just other ways of nurturing. And she says, well, I'm not your mom. What I really hear is I'm just lazy and I don't want to do this.
Oh.
Because yeah, I said it. I'm just lazy and I don't want to do this. Because
I don't think it's a
somebody
lazy
who wants
thing,
you to be,
T.
but somebody who wants you to be like Jody, or somebody who's like Jody, obviously we should be able to spot that from a mile away. Maybe not on sight, but I mean, you spend enough time around a dude like that who has no motivation and expects you to.
I'm gonna just hop from house to house and let each and every woman take care of me.
That's obvious, but I'm talking about a dude who actually is your match, or you match well together. You know, if he's just looking for you to do certain things, it's like, hey, look, you said masculine energy, right? I'm going to take the lead naturally on things that are more masculine to do. When I'm looking to you to do these things, I'm not saying that I need you to only slave in the kitchen. Yeah. I cook a lot, but I'm probably going to be working my ass off to make sure that you have everything.
But that's why I said I don't think that it's like you just want to be lazy. I think it goes back to the courage and vulnerability. Because again, when you ask me what kind of woman's going to say that, 9 times out of 10, she's a woman who's being defensive. Because it's something that she doesn't know how to do. And she's not comfortable enough to say that, because in the world, the world tells her that as a woman, you're supposed to do that. So she's going to think you're going to think less of her if she can't cook, or if she don't know how to wash clothes properly. You know what I'm saying? Because the world is saying those are things that women should know how to do. She's not comfortable enough within herself to take the chance to say it to you, so that y'all can figure it out. So her defense mechanism is just to shoot that off and say that. But on the reverse, the girl who's saying, well, my dad did doop, 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 doop. In my eyes, she's programmed. She's programmed.
Indoctrinated.
She's indoctrinated. So she's just running off of a script. She really can't tell you the intricacies of what it is she's looking for in a man. She's just running off the script that you should be able to, like well,
that's what all these, modern day
is this
dating
a
coaches
woman
and the gurus are talking about.
Is this a woman coming from a single parent home? Because if she's in a home where there's 2 parents, then obviously she knows what her daddy is doing, but she knows what her mother is doing as well. Right.
And so you get a different kind of woman like that. So I actually knew a girl who came from a 2-parent home. She ended up, I don't know if she was raised by her parents, but I know the majority of her life, she was raised by her grandmother and her grandfather. She ended up dating a guy who was raised by his mom and his dad, but her expectation of a man was like, what happened? I want to say, I think it might've been like the car door thing, right? He a dude that just hopped out the car. Her thing was like, you need to be opening my door.
But in turn, is she opening his door from the inside?
Listen, so her thing was, you need to be opening my door. He like, girl, like...
Get in the car.
Yeah, get in the car, like, you tripping. She like, my grandfather taught me that a man... I'm not your granddaddy. ...should always open the door for a woman.
But see, the difference is when we say that, they attack your manhood and try to say you're less of a man.
Well, because... the reality is that's my grandfather. So even though I brought him into the conversation, I don't want you to say nothing about my grandfather. What should be said to rectify the situation is, why is it important for me or for you that I open the door for you? Right. And if her only sole reason is because my grandfather did it, then it's not enough. That's a problem.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah.
For me, what I have surmised now, and I said to a guy that I was dating last year, I was like, listen, I have decided in my life that I want to really live in the energy of me being a queen. Okay. So when we're out in the world, can you pull my chairs out? I don't even want to touch my chair. That was genuinely like me shaping my world. You know what I'm saying? And I it was just a request.
Okay. And that comes from not receiving.
Just a request, though.
When you have the value of receiving such things. You know what I'm saying?
Say that again.
I said that comes from not receiving it when you need to be getting it from every other.
But see, I think that it
way.
would have been a different experience. If, like I said, that whole comparing thing is where people start to get defensive. I think if I was like, my dad pulled my chair out every time, so you need to be doing that doesn't work.
Right.
But if I give you my, like, hey, I'm walking in my queen energy. I don't want my hands to touch no chairs. Can you pull my chairs out for me when we out in the world?
Do you think that's sustainable too?
I think it's sustainable because, again, in all relational situations, you're always teaching people how to treat you and what you're used to, what you're willing, what you want and what you don't want. So in turn, if he would have said like, yeah, that's cool. And then somewhere down the line, he's like, hey, I want to feel like the man when I walk through. So every time we get in the car, can you reach over and open my door? That don't take no sweat off my back for me to reach over and open the door for him.
That's where I think the principle of this comes from. The ones who say it though, and they say like, I'm not your mom. It's just something that registers that I'm just not doing that. I'm just not supposed to do that.
Right. And that's why I said people have to create their own detail to the umbrella. If you're just throwing out that doesn't work. You're going to continue to get combative situations and you're never going to get what you want. But if you've taken the time to think about it and you have a real reason why you're requesting what you're requesting, I think that's fair. If you tell me as a man, hey, every time I come home from work, can you have my slippers ready for me at the door and my robe hanging up where I'm going to put my coat?
I don't understand.
Why not?
Well, my whole
you're not gonna come in the house and go take a shower, my guy. Like,
I mean, listen, he might be. I don't know. I just threw that out there.
Here's where I also stand on this too,
because that's not taking anything away from me. You know what I'm saying? I love you, and if you're asking me this and you're saying that this is a request of yours, element. I'm okay with that.
That's the missing element.
I feel comfortable with that.
I was gonna say also to this point though, I could maybe understand this under certain circumstances if, like for instance, what you just described, what y'all both just described, is what I think of as in terms of like when you get into a routine with somebody, like you got married and now you're. This is just what we do. This is how we flow. You know, I come home at this time. She comes home at that time. She leaves at this time.
I know what he likes to do.
This is
let
when
me
her
jump
shows
the
come
gun
on
and set it up for him.
Or maybe I don't, and maybe he decided, you know what? From now on, I want to live like the Serene of Senegal, and I never want to touch a toothbrush. I don't know. Now, if he asked me to brush his teeth, now
okay, no.
And I want to live in my king energy.
Now we're talking about cross-cultural.
I want to live in my king energy, and I want you in this tub scrubbing me.
Well, that's what I mean.
Washing
like
my body.
You know what I'm saying? Like
I'm a king.
Or maybe I'm a con, then I'm a king. I want you to walk around behind me with a spear and, you know.
For the next 3 hours, I need you walking around this house butt ass naked.
And that's why I say I know that I'm a different type of woman because for me, the world is my stage.
Right.
That means at any given time, I can walk around this like I own it, or I can walk around like I'm a gardener planting things. My king has the same opportunity to do that. I don't feel no kind of way if he say, girl, every time I come home, because I am the king of this castle, I just need a nice glass of champagne poured for me. There is no reason, there's nothing in me that's going to push back on that because it don't take nothing from me to pour that man a glass.
And
I love him and I care for him.
And that's what I was getting at, where I was getting towards what I was saying. I can understand this. Maybe if you get into a routine where certain things start to feel uncomfortable, you still shouldn't say it like this.
Right.
But like, for instance, let's say you use the hanging the coat up example or something like that. I know, for instance, like my great grandparents I told y'all about on a different show. They were married 62 years. My great grandmother used to get pissed at my grandfather because though he did all the yard work and he fixed everything, when he came in with his jumpsuit and whatnot, she'd be cleaned all the floor. He'd be tracking mud everywhere.
The disrespect.
Pulling her hair out.
The disrespect.
Now, okay.
And then he like, woman, I just came from outside doing X, Y, and Z.
Now, she probably cleaned that up for years, and then she probably just got tired.
Right.
I ain't cleaning up this mud.
Yeah, because come on.
You knew I was out there. You could have waited to clean.
Respect the things that I have done in this house to keep it well. Don't just drag it through here.
And that's what I'm getting at. Over time,
stop it at the door.
You could could be over time. You could be
You
like,
learn your
look,
people.
I do. Maybe you do the laundry, but it's like, okay, you creating like 2 more loads.
Yes, yes. So that's a communication, man. Well, let's go on and take a break out here.
They shooting.
Ow, hopefully we're shooting in the right
Gotta pay some
direction.
bills
This is
real quick,
Patio
y'all.
Politics. We'll be right back after
Check out the
this.
Legato collection like this.
You trust me? Come here. I want to help you ease your anxiety if you allow me to. I think it's magical how kisses slow down time. I can make your spirit move at the pace of the earth when your lips meet mine. Life is so much better when you slow down. You're so in a rush just to go nowhere when the best place to be is right here.
No. All right, y'all. We back at it one more again. The patio, and we out here talking about these
Underneath the
ins and
patio.
outs of what it looks like. I ain't your mama, but my daddy did, or I ain't your daddy, but my mama did, and we get into it. And we was talking about over the break. We talking about T and his grandparents. He was giving us a little. I wouldn't even say repetition. I would just say it's mindfulness.
Mindful.
Because
I mean, but you can be so busy that
no,
it's
I don't want to hear that. Let me tell you what
honest
grandma.
mistakes.
Let me tell you what honest mistakes.
You sound just like her.
But let me tell you what I bet grandma, if she would have done this, it would have changed instantly. But I don't know your grandma, but I am familiar with her generation and I know the foundation that they set. So she probably wouldn't have never done this. But I guarantee you, if grandma would have left it for her husband to clean that house up the way that she did, he would see how much it took for her to make it look that way. And then he would respect her process enough to remember it before he came in the house.
Yeah.
Because she would have appreciated him more stopping at the door and saying, babe, can you bring me some water? Than for him to truck it through the house.
Okay.
Well, and I think though, like they both. I mean, that's something.
But see,
that
that's a
you can
different
do
day and
either
age.
way.
Because if I come to the door and I'm like, okay, I know I'm filthy. I know she just cleaned. Let me call out the babe and she gonna bring me a small little tub with some soap water or whatever. And I'm
We getting back to it.
You know what I'm saying?
We getting back to it.
We ain't doing that no more.
We getting back to it.
I don't. But see, he wasn't unappreciative. It was
Right.
one of those things.
It was
where,
just he
like,
wasn't
he's slipping
mindful
his
about
hand.
it.
he done done so much outside work and it's hot, and he just like,
Let me get in
he's
here.
like,
and get
I
to
just
the-
need a glass of iced tea or something.
And that's why I
And-
said what would have brought it to his mind, to the forefront of his mind, is if he had to one time clean that house up, and because then he would have the experience of doing what she did to understand this is very taxing.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be on the front of his mind
Yeah.
a little bit more.
And I feel like that's the part that happens to the people that's talking like that. It's breakthroughs in their life to where they understand, be like, damn, okay, I know I'm not his mama, but damn, I want this in my life. So at least I can do is these little things right here to add to love. And I'm just saying that maybe they didn't go through those experiences that you talking about with grandma and grandpa, like to where like, okay, damn, the appreciation is realized, you know what I mean? Because we done went through so much.
And even
that's
with
why
the
I said there's a
guys.
thing of positive manipulation.
Go ahead.
Positive.
I don't think positive manipulation.
I mean,
is a good
when
thing.
you think about it, it's like, okay, if I want her to respond in this positive way, let me then do these things that's going to lead her into it. So that and it's vice versa. You know what I'm saying? If you know your partner
I don't
well
think
enough.
that's manipulation then.
Yeah, like I hear what you're saying though, just the word choice. I got you.
yeah.
I got you.
But again, that's still teaching people how to relate to you. Even with the guy who's saying, my mama don't do it like that, or you need to do this like my mom. Like,
Because like say they're not used to doing it like your mom and like your dad.
well, listen,
So it's
they're
like,
not
okay,
going
I
to
can
be
train
used to
you.
because they don't. But why are you trying to train me to be like your mom? In turn, what you should be saying to me is, or what we could be talking about is how to clean dishes properly. Or how to mop a floor properly if you've had a better experience in it than she has. But saying, let me train you like my mama, That's not working. But if you like, you know what, babe, you be missing the corners in the kitchen a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know, it bothers you. Because is it really that serious? Does that bother you? If it does bother you, then yeah, have the dialogue. But if you just being an ass.
If it bothers you that much, then you need to be the one.
I think so. But here, again, though, when he's looking at that and he's saying you're not doing it like my mom, is because he has an expectation of you to do it like his mother.
Because that's how it's always been
Because
shown
that's how it's always been shown to him. So if you get down to that and you're saying, okay, are you bothered by the fact that you just don't like to see, dust in the corner? Or are you bothered by it because you want her to do it the way that you're used to doing it? Those are two different things, and you're going to get two different reactions, and you're going to actually convey it to her in two different ways. Because if she's not sweeping the floor properly, what you can do is say, babe, I really love sweeping. People have to learn how to finesse things in a way that works to get what it is that they're looking for. And it's not a manipulate. I guess you could say, okay, positive manipulation, but I'm just going to say it's a healthy way of having a dialogue. Babe, I love sweeping the floor, but I noticed that me and you do it a little bit different. I be seeing the corners, all dusty. You can make it a little funny, make a little joke or here or something. And then
you would have to.
Sweet. And that's okay because sometimes you got to make it a little soft.
Because then it's just like, are you judging me? Are you dragging me?
And that's for everybody. That's for everybody, men or women. And then go through and sweep the floor and show her, because maybe in her household, as long as it wasn't in the middle of the floor, it was solid.
I used to work for LA Unified. You ain't doing the figure eight when you mopping, baby. You need to hit
Some
that figure
people
eight.
need that, and that's okay. That's okay, but you have to learn, you have to bring love and compassion into the things that you're talking about and you're doing with the people that you love. If you bring an energy of inaccuracy or you bring the energy of judgment, that's what's it's going to mess it all up. I'm going to sweep this floor and I'm going to show you.
Wouldn't there be conflict though? Because the other party could then be like, this is how my mama showed.
It's not going to be conflict.
So now we got two moms that have two different views of how things need to be cleaned.
But that's why you don't bring the mamas in. You make it a you thing.
How do you make it a you thing when you're so accustomed to what you were taught?
Relationships just learn how to have those uncomfortable conversations.
That part right there. We live together. You're comfortable with this. I'm not comfortable with that. How can we come to a medium? The medium might be, I'm going to sweep the floor and you come through and sweep the boards. But people need to be able to, or be willing to have the compromise. You got to have the compromise. Listen, I ain't even here for all that. I be having too much on my plate to do. I be tired. The kids be running around. I'm just trying to keep the dust and the dirt out of the place. If the boards bother you, then babe, I'm just going to need you to come through whenever you see it and just handle that for me. Now, is that okay?
It's met with frustration.
But
all you have to do is just this one little different thing.
That's what she's saying to him. Can you just hit the boards? If the boards are important to you, because it's not important to me. Can you just hit the boards then because that's important to you?
That's where.
Now, if you are the person, if you are the person that brought that to her and you feel some kind of way because she asked you to be the one to sweep the boards, now you got to ask yourself why, because that's a solution. Does it matter who does it, or does it matter that it gets done?
She had just, I'll let you know.
I mean, I think
she got 50 other things to do. She want to do a quick sweep.
Does he? Does he have 50 other things to do as well?
He might, but so if he does, then you got to take what she's given.
Well, I was also going to say too, it don't matter whether it's coming from him or her, but the way I would look at such situations, I look at situations as, okay, like we need to find a solution, but then we also need to find like what's going to put both of us at peace. 'Cause sometimes if you do it, then you might feel like the person is doing it while they rolling their eyes and throwing spite at you and whatnot.
Yes.
And so I just look at it as, okay, at least you put it on their mind. Like if, for instance, you get annoyed by dust and it's like, you always miss that one spot in the corner. My grandmother was like that. She got annoyed by one little
like that spider web been there for 2 damn weeks.
Even see. I'm like, ain't nobody even looking at the ceiling. But it's like, okay, well.
I am. Well, why don't you get over there and clean it?
This annoys Granny. So what I'll do is I'll do my best to remember
exactly
that this bugs her. And I think that's what my grandfather was too. He's like, I'm going to do my best to remember.
Right.
But it's like a natural habit that I keep when I come in from planting everything in the garden, fixing the car, cutting the lawn.
He didn't forgot.
Moving all this equipment
I'm
back in
exhausted.
the house and
I'm
whatnot.
tired.
I'm exhausted and tired. And
He's
I'm like,
exhausted.
my mind is exhausted.
He's exhausted.
oh
She's
my bad.
exhausted.
And he said to let me take my shoes off. You know, like
Right.
He's doing his
3
best.
steps inside the house already, but it's like shit. But
Yeah.
then in turn you would have to then, all right, let me go grab the mop real quick.
I was finna say,
And
because
not only
now
that-
are you gonna clean it up?
And not only that, too, this is where it gets lost in translation with a lot of chicks now, too, is they think that dudes aren't adjustable. I think there's plenty of guys out there that are willing to work because my grandfather was like, he'll go and help and do something else if he felt bad or he caught himself up.
But your
Oh, man, I done
grandfather
walked
is a
in the
real
house.
OG. These dudes out here are entitled without doing any functions
Yeah, you
that
shouldn't be
would
entitled.
presume them to be or make them give them the space for them to feel entitled, and that's a real thing too.
That's a problem.
And that's a problem. So that's what I'm saying. In all these places and spaces, it's the clear dialogue that's needed and the compassion and the love in the space that's needed. If I'm comparing you to my daddy and you comparing me to your mama, it's toxic. It's messed up right off
And
the
is
bat.
that even a fair comparison?
It's
Because
not. At
all
you
the
haven't
time.
even seen your father
Well, it's
or
not
your
fair.
mother in the light of which you expect your mate to act
Yeah,
because you
it's
were
not.
a child.
But in turn, what we should be saying is, babe, I need you to love on me a little bit more and nurture me a little bit more. And what she should be saying is, I need you to make sure that this house is secure. You know what I'm saying? And we have what we need. If that's the relationship that they have, instead of referencing these other people, because I will
Right.
never be your mother.
Right.
And you will never be my father.
Right.
But they definitely did show me some things that I love and I want in my life. But like I said, if we take the titles away, we're really just saying, look for
Take the
a
gender
man.
roles away.
Thank you. Take the gender roles away. I'm looking for a man who is functioning in masculine energy, and I am looking for a woman who is functioning in feminine energy. I know a couple, the wife, she don't do dishes. She don't do dishes, and she'll cook, but it's not all the time, especially because it's just the two of them now in the house. You know what I'm saying? That man don't have no problem with that. He like to get in the kitchen and do his little things too. But she'll still do it, but it's not every single day. Nowadays, today we got dishwasher. Nobody should have dirty dishes. We got dishwasher at the house. I didn't grow up with dishwasher. These was the dishwasher.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
right.
saying?
These still are the dishwasher.
Man,
I don't
in a
trust,
lot of
I don't
places.
trust the dishwasher. You ain't
I
washing, you
don't
ain't
trust
cleaning
the
dishes.
dishwasher
For sure.
either.
Message.
You ain't cleaning how I'm
Don't
cleaning.
wash everything the same.
Right.
You
Right.
ain't cleaning how I'm
So, there's places and spaces where things can shift or have shifted in households. But if that man said to that lady all the time, my mama used to do, she got an attitude. Now she ain't doing nothing. If she's saying, well, my dad used to, that's making him feel some kind of way. It's never gonna work.
sit around the house like your daddy and do nothing.
Yeah. So hey, but apparently the daddy was doing anyway.
Now, if a dude says, okay, because going to the second part where the woman also say, my daddy provided these things for me, so that's just what I expect, and the dude says, well, you can work.
You don't know
so
what
why
your daddy had to
why
do.
you can't pay the other half of the bills? If you want this lifestyle, then you can help me get it and pay the other half.
Right.
Is that justified?
I think it depends on the relationship. It
Like,
depends.
you mean giving her the same thing she giving you, basically?
So
Contribute.
I'ma say no.
I know
I'ma
we're talking
say-
about tit for tat here, but I'm saying for the sake of argument and getting to the logic of the principle, you know, my daddy provided these things for me, so that's just what I expect. Okay, well, I'm not your daddy, and you went to college, you got a job, you can work, you make X amount of money. Why can't you contribute all
You're
this?
trying to
think-
start a fight.
Well, I
Gotta
think
throw it out.
I get
there,
your
man.
point.
that's
brother.
that's why I keep
Principle doesn't
saying.
matter.
That's why I keep saying get into the dialogue or the detail of it, because at the end of the day, even though those are the words being used, what exactly is it that she's saying? Are you saying that my dad provided a space where I felt comfortable and safe to do whatever? Or are you saying that my dad paid for everything and I expect you to pay for everything? What does that look like? What does that mean to you?
So it needs
Because
to be a
there
conversation.
needs to be a conversation had, because at the end of the day, my dad may have paid for everything in our house and my mom was a stay-at-home mom, or my dad paid for everything and my mom had her job and she got to keep her money.
Well,
if that's the case, then there's a dialogue that need to be had, because she could want that and he could not want that. And if that's the case, then this union is not going to work.
But here's also the other half of that I always or the conversation tends to go off the rails when I ask this, and I'm literally only asking ever for context. Okay, so you want me to say I say yes to this request and I do all these things. Well, then I need you to do everything that your mom did for your dad.
You better find out what her mama was doing for her daddy, because her mama might have just been sweeping the floor.
Your mama might have been allowing your dad unofficial sister wives. Your mama might have been,
And I mean,
might have been
and that's
You
what I mean,
gotta
because you
find out.
never knew. You was in a child's
if you
place.
want this, you don't demand something and then be like, well, I'm not. That's like saying, hey, I want a max deal, but I mean, I can't outplay the average point guard.
But
I
that's
want
why
100
you
million.
gotta have the dialogue. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we get ready to close out, I'm just gonna say,
I'm
just
just
for
playing
me on the
devil's advocate.
personal one too, if you have a partner or a spouse and they always throwing out to you, well, my mama did it like this, or I want you to do it like my mama did, or my daddy did it like this, and I want you to do it like this, have a dialogue with them and see how that relationship worked up in the house. Find out what they moms did and what they dad did. Because like T just said, your daddy might have paid for everything, but your mama also might have been all right with him having 2 or 3 women on the side. So I'll pay for everything if you willing to let me have 2 or 3 women on the side. You got to find out the whole picture. But nonetheless, really what it boils down to is, in my personal opinion, my humble opinion, as a suggestion on a way to build a very healthy, loving space, if there's something that you're looking for, don't compare your partner to your parents, because they'll never be. That's 2 completely different situations, circumstances, and relationship. In turn, find a compassionate and or gentle and loving way to convey what it is that you're looking for, and be willing to find a place of compromise so that y'all both have peace. What y'all say?
Man, I hear you.
What they both
Communication.
say? Man.
That was it. That was it.
Like, for real.
That was it, yeah.
Too, that I was bringing that out so that we can open up the conversation.
He's like,
for that
ladies,
more
no,
often.
still love me,
Beanie
still
Boy,
love me.
Okay, I'm not the 50-50 dude. I'm not the dude saying that I
Come
wouldn't
on,
do the
T, put
providing
it
and all
out there.
that.
Drop your
I
phone number
believe-
2 at the end.
All right, so look, real quick before we get out of here.
626.
No, because I want to play devil's advocate about
Why, T?
catching
We
me at
done, T.
510.
Oh.
510. Y'all know, those of y'all who know,
Deep
you
East
know.
Oakland.
Hey, deep with some cat and me gloves. You know?
I'm from the east side.
Deep East Oakland. All
East side.
right.
You fall, you said?
What you say? What you say, Kay?
Catch me at 510.
Hey, man, I say everything has been said on the patio politics.
Yeah.
And man, just be mindful that your examples of love could be fucked up. So you know what I mean? Just be
Right.
Slow down.
open-minded that we don't know it all. You know what I mean? Just
Be
be
willing
open
for
to
the
learn more.
compromise.
Message.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? We got God King Kendon. We
what
got
about
Shanga the
you?
medicine one. What you mean? What about me?
what you
Oh man, I'm about
saying?
to stir some shit up. You don't want me to
No,
say,
man. Come on, man. We
Hey,
closing
hey,
it
but
out,
but,
Mac.
but to be real, you know what I'm saying? I come from a non-mommy and daddy home.
Yes.
And I would like to believe that I'm set up proper. I am okay with balance. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? I was taught certain things, you know, if you're not gonna be a cooker, you gotta learn how to clean the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? But that's
Can't
the whole
clean
thing
the
of
kitchen?
gender
Gotta learn
roles.
how to service
Yeah.
this
If you, oh Jesus. Hey, if you
Kicking
can't
your
clean
feet
the
up and
kitchen,
letting your wife lay away in there.
know how to cook
Clean
or
it.
whatever. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
okay.
But it was under the lines of, if you know how to clean the kitchen, that means you'll always be able to keep a woman because she'll be the one that's in the kitchen cooking.
Okay.
But if that's not
know
the
about
case,
today.
then you need to learn how to cook because you'll never have a woman. So that means you got to cook and clean the dishes.
Right on.
But like you said, T, in today's time, things are so different.
I think people just got to
So
learn how to
different.
just be willing to be courageous, y'all. Be courageous. If it's something you don't know how to do,
It's
It's
okay.
okay.
It's
I like
okay.
that. We
Okay.
don't explore that word a lot in our generation.
Yeah, it's
Nobody
okay
talks
to not
about
know.
courage anymore.
No.
Because people are lazy.
Yeah.
And
T won't air.
Fearful.
He definitely
Fearful.
serious about people.
I'm not even speaking to that same example. I'm
Okay.
saying, like, I think courage is absent because people are lazy. Like,
I think
because
people
courage-
are afraid.
Yeah,
But
I would say
courage is being
fear,
afraid.
fear more than laziness.
Fear. They're fearful.
Yeah.
But courage is that. Courage is having
being
fear,
afraid, but still doing
it.
Yes.
Society shows you that there's punishment when you stand up for yourself and what you believe in.
So it's
Or-
attempting to destroy courage.
Yes. Y'all be courageous out here. We
Be
love
courageous.
y'all. We out here, Patio Politics. Make sure
Trouble
you
T
like,
Mills.
comment, subscribe.
medicine woman.
Come back for the next
Shonda.
episode.
Shout out to the Legato
Killer
Collection,
K,
y'all.
Sir Meezy, Rider for Life, the Patio Politics, and we outro like.
We hope you